Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. This is our lesson in Fiqh al-Janazah on the 18th of September, Monday, 18th September 2023, according to the Christian era. Today's lesson is a recorded lesson, and we will continue from where we left off. And we spoke about the washing of the dead body, and we finished the washing of the dead body, and we mentioned that it needs to be washed an odd number of washing, up to 7, depending on if it needs so 3, 5, 7, and it should be perfumed. The whole body is perfumed, that's fine. But kafur should be placed in the water and washed with that. That's where we stopped. Then Imam Ibn Qudama says, وَلَا يُسَرِّحْ شَعْرَهُ. So the hair of the dead body are not combed. And the reason behind that is because perhaps combing the hair of the dead body will cause some of the hair to be broken, or some of the hair to fall out or be pulled out, or the likes. And you're not supposed to do anything to the dead body, to change the dead body, or to harm the dead body. And this is the case for the male. As for the woman, then the Imam says, وَالْمَرْأَةُ يُظْفَرُ شَعْرُهَا ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُونَ وَيُسْدَلُ مِنْ وَرَائِهَا or min wara'ihi. And the woman hair, then three plaits are made, or three plaits are made from them, or they're parted into 3 parts, into 3 plaits, and they are placed behind her head, or behind the body. And this is because of what Atiyah did for her companion. Atiyah and those who were washing the Prophet ﷺ's daughter's body did, because and was ordered by the Prophet ﷺ, as he said in the hadith, وَضْفُرْنَا شَعْرَهَا ثَلَاثَ قُرُونَ وَأَرْخِينَهُ مِنْ خَلْفِهَا. And make 3 partitions for her hair, and make 3 qurun, 3 plaits, and place them behind her. And so this was all about how the dead body is washed. And before we move on to the shrouding and to other matters, we need to discuss what the scholars say concerning the washing, those who wash the body. So before we move on to the matter of shrouding, we need to talk about who or what should be noted with regards to those who wash the body of the dead person. لا ينبغي أن يحضر تغسيل الميت من لا حاجة إلى حضوره. So no one should be present at the body washing of the body who has no reason to be present. So the people who are present at the washing of the body should only be those who are involved in the washing, and no one extra should be present. So what is meant is that only those people who are necessary for the purpose of washing should be present, and no extra onlookers or spectators should be present. So there should be the washer and those who help the washer if the washer is in need of help. So no one more than that, no spectators who are just there to watch should be present, but only those who are necessary for the washing and those who are there to help the washer should be present. And the reason behind this, the scholars say, لأنه يجب ستر الميت كما يجب ستر الحي, that the dead person deserves the same privacy as the living person deserves of privacy. And for that reason, the dead body is also covered, especially the private parts, that which none is supposed to see, are covered after the person's private parts are covered after their death, just as they are covered during their life. وإذا رأى الغاسل ومن معه من المعاونين أن في هذا الشخص عيبا داخليا يرغب في ستره. And in addition, if the washer and the helpers see in the dead body or see on the dead body any defect or any bodily defect, whether outside or inside, what they can see, then they should do their utmost to not publicize that and keep that hidden, and not speak about what they saw of defects. فَيَجِبْ عَلَيْهِمْ سِتْرُهُ وَلَا يَجُوزُ عَلَيْهِمْ كَشْفُ ذَلِكَ. So they should hide these matters that they've seen, these defects, these deficiencies that they've seen, and it's not allowable for them to publicize them or to speak about them. And therefore, we must choose those who are trustworthy to wash and help the washing of the body of the dead person, because they have to keep these secrets with them and not speak about them and not tell anybody about them. Then we move on to the topic of the shrouding of the dead body. ثم قال المصنف, then the Imam rahimahullah says, ثم يكفن في 3 أثواب بيض ليس فيها قميص ولا عمامة يدرج فيها إدراجا وإن كفن في قميص وإزار ولفافة فلا بأس وتكفن المرأة في 5 أثواب من ضرع وإزار ومقنعة ولفافتين. So then the Imam says, then the body is shrouded in 3 white sheets of cloth. ليس فيها قميص ولا عمامة. In those, this is talking about the male body. The male body is shrouded in 3 white pieces of cloth. There is no shirt, nor imama, no head covering for the male. وَيُدْرَجُ فِيهَا إِدْرَاجًا, and he is placed in them and wrapped in them a total wrapping. And however, if he is shrouded in a shirt and a lower garment, an izar, a lungi as they call it, a lower garment, then that then lifaf, and then wrapped in a big cloth after. So they place the shirt upon him, and they tie the izar on his lower half, and then they wrap the entire body in a white cloth wrapping. Then that's acceptable as well. Fala bas, then that's acceptable as well. So either he's wrapped totally in 3 wraps of white cloth, or if that's not available, then they use a shirt and a izar, a lower garment, and then they wrap him in 1 cloth, and that's acceptable as well. And from the statement, they must be white. وتكفن المرأة في 5 أثواب. As for the woman, then she is shrouded in 5 pieces of cloth, and they are dir wa izar wa muqna'a wa lifafa. Dar, which is a shirt down to the thighs, a shirt down to the thighs, and an izar, a lower garment, and a muqna'a, that seems to be an undergarment to cover her private parts, and lifafatain. The lifafatain, again, 2 cloths which are wraps around the body. So she has a shirt, a dir', which goes down to her thighs, and she has an izar, and she has an undergarment as well. So she has an undergarment, muqna'a, which is used to cover the under her private parts, and then a shirt, and then an izar, and then two wrapping cloths that wrap the whole body. So she has, just like in life, she is covered more. In death too, she is covered more with more clothing. And what is meant by takfeen? What is meant by takfeen? We translate it as shrouding. But the purpose of shrouding is to cover the dead body with cloth, with specific cloth, because all of the normal clothing are are removed from the dead body and left to the inheritors. And these the shrouding cloth are different than our normal clothing. And the scholars, after mentioning what is the sunnah, and that's what we've just mentioned, the three cloths which the male body is wrapped in, and the five garments that the female is wrapped in. The scholars say that what is obligatory, that's the sunnah. What is obligatory is that there is a cloth, a garment, which covers the entire body of the dead person. So for the shrouding, there is two types. One which is the minimum, and that is a cloth which covers the entire body, and one which is the complete type of shrouding, which is the 3 cloths for the male and the 5 cloths for the female, which we've mentioned previously. In the shrouding is similar. That there are 2 types, like we mentioned in the washing. The complete or the complete bathing, where there's a complete form of bathing and there is a acceptable or sufficient level for bathing. And we mentioned that the sufficient, that which is obligatory, is that the entire body has water, is covered with water. The entire body, the entire skin receives water and is wet, becomes wet. And the sunnah, or the complete bath is that you proceed it with ghusl, you proceed it with wudu, and then you wash the entire body. And that was, and in the same way is for the dead body. There's a complete and there's a minimum. And in the same way there is for the shrouding. There's a complete and there is a minimum. So the mu'allif, the author, Ibn al-Qudama, mentioned the complete shrouding, and that is the 3 for the male and the 5 for the female. And what we mean by cloth, and I'm sure you understood it, what we mean by cloth is a complete piece of material which has not been cut up and sewed together on the outline of a body, so that the body can be wrapped totally in that one piece. And that one piece covers the whole body of the dead person. So each of the three pieces that are used for the male must cover the entire body, must wrap the entire body. Each one, first you wrap with the first wrapping, and then you wrap with the second wrapping, and then you wrap with the third body. Each wrapping wraps the entire body. And how do we understand that they must be complete pieces? We understand that from what the Sheikh says, what the Imam says, ثلاثة أثواب بيض ليس فيها قميص ولا إمامة. 3 white cloths, not having in them a shirt nor a head covering. The imamah for the male. The head covering for the male. So that shows that they must be just material. And Aisha radiallahu anha described the shroud of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She said, كفن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كفن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في 3 أبواب بيض سحولية ليس فيها قميص ولا عمامة. So this is mentioned in the hadith, in the narration of Aisha, where she mentions the shroud of the Prophet ﷺ, that they were in pure white cotton material, and there was no shirt nor head covering for the Prophet ﷺ. And this narration is mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim. And Suhuliya is a place in Yemen. So it is attributing the white cloth from a place in Yemen. So ثلاثة أبواب بيض سحولية Yemeni, so Yemeni white cloth. And this place, it was famous. Suhul was famous, a famous place in Yemen, and it was famous for making material from cotton. That's why I mentioned cotton. And in some of the narrations, the word is used cotton. And so يُدْرَجُ فِيهَا إِدْرَاجًا, the body is wrapped, totally, fully wrapped. And so it's not the cloth is not cut up and sewn together on the form of the body. So what they do is they place the 3 cloths on the floor on the table, and then they place the 3 cloths one on top of the other, and then they place the body on top, and then they wrap the first cloth and tie it. So they fold it upon the dead body, the right side and then the left side, and they wrap and they tie the body, they tie at the top and at the bottom, the head and the feet, so it doesn't open. And then they wrap the second and the third, and then they tie them top and bottom, so it doesn't open. Then the Imam says, وَيُؤْخَذُ أَحْسَنُ الْلَفَائِفِ وَأَوْسَعُهَا وَتَبْسُطْ عَلَى بِسَاطٍ. So they take the best of the cloth and the widest of them, the widest of them, and they spread them out on an open place. And so the first one, as we said, we place 3 of them on top of each other. So the one at the bottom will be the most outward of the cover, and the one at the top will be the most inward of the cover of the body, the one that touches the body of the person. And the second one will be on top of that, and the third one, the one at the bottom underneath, will be the outward of the shroud, and what people will see. And as he said, and if he is if he is shrouded in a shirt and a izar and a wrap, then that's acceptable. So again, there is the kamal, there is the complete shrouding, and that's the three pieces. Three pieces which are not shirt and no izar, and just cloth, or what is, and that those three was what the Prophet ﷺ's body was wrapped in. But if they can't find three and they can find a shirt and an izar, and the shirt is cut up and made and stitched together upon the shape of the body, the upper body. And the izar is for the lower body. And the lifaf is that which is the cloth that wraps around the whole body. And there is a lower form than that, and that is one cloth that wraps the entire body, and that is acceptable, and that's the least. So there's two lower forms, and one is the qamis. The complete form is the three cloths. The lower form than that is a qamis and an izar and a cloth to wrap, and the minimum is one wrap that wraps the entire body. And then he moved from, after mentioning the male, he moved to the female. So she is wrapped in 5. Okay. So I mentioned that she is in dir' and qamis and izar and miqna'a and lifafatain. There's 5. I said the miqna'a is the underwear, but that's not correct. The Sheikh explains that the miqna'a is the what covers the woman's head, the headscarf that covers the woman's hair and head. That's yaqna or yughatti. Yaqna means to cover the head, and so you covering of the head. So the dir' is the shirt, just like the man's shirt, but it comes up to the thighs. And the izar covers the lower half of the body, and the miqna'a covers the head. So just like a woman wore the hijab in the dunya, when she's buried, she wears a headscarf, a head covering, and lifafatain, and then her whole body is wrapped in the 2 cloths. Okay. And those wraps are the same as the wraps of the male, in that they are not stitched or cut up on to the makeup of the body. And the purpose of all of these 5 is the increase in the covering of the woman. Just like in the dunya, the woman is more covered than the man. The man covers just the outward body, the private parts, the legs, the upper part of his body. The man normally just covers that and doesn't have to cover more than that. Whereas the woman covers her entire body, and just leaving that which is apparent, that which is necessary for her to see and go about her business with. And in the same way, the dead body of the woman is covered more than the dead body of the male. And this is based upon the hadith of Abu Dawood regarding Layla bint Qatif al-Thaqafiyya, where she says, كنت في من غسل كلثوم ابنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عند وفاتها فكان أول ما أعطانا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الحقاء، والحقاء المقصود به الإزار، ثم الضرع بمنزلة القميص للرجل، ثم الخمار الذي هو المقنعة ومقنعة وما يغطي به الرأس، ثم الملحقة التي تلف بها كاملة، ثم أدرجت بعد ذلك في ثوب آخر. قالوا ولأن المرأة تزيد في حياتها على الرجل في التستر فكذلك في موتها. Okay, the hadith mentions all of these 5 pieces of shrouding for the woman. And she says that Layla bint Qatif al-Thaqafiyya says that she was among those who washed the body of the daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Kulthum. And what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave them to shroud her in was firstly gave them the izar, al-haqqa, and al-haqqa is the izar. ثم الدرع, dar is the qamis. ثم الخمار, then the head covering, which we call the muqna, or the scholars call the muqna'a or miqna'a. And then the mulhaqa, and that is the lifaf, that is the wrapping sheet. And then she was wrapped in them. Then the lifaf, and then another wrapping, which she was wrapped fully in. And the scholars say that like the woman in this dunya is more covered and has to be more covered than the man, same way in her death she has to be more covered than the man. Then we move to who is more who has more right to wash the dead body, and the order of right of washing the dead body. So the Imam says, وَحَقُّ النَّاسِ بِغَسْلِهِ وَالصَّلَاةِ عَلَيْهِ وَدَفْنِهِ وَصِيُّهُ فِي ذَلك ثم الأب ثم الجد ثم الأقرب فالأقرب من العصبات، وفي غسل المرأة الأم ثم الجدة ثم الأقرب فالأقرب من نسائها، إلا أن الأمير يقدم في الصلاة على الأب ومن بعده. So he mentions the order. So he says the person with the most right to wash the dead body and to pray and lead the prayer, the Jinazah prayer upon the dead body, and to bury the dead body, is the one whom the dead person has requested, the one who he has bequeathed to be the one who washes him, and the one who prays upon him, the one who buries him, the one who he has willed, the one who he has bequeathed, the one who has requested before his death to do so. So that is the one who deserves the most right. If he has not left a will of who should do it, or bequeathed or requested, then it is the father of the dead body, the father of the dead person, or the grandfather of the dead person. ثم الأقرب, then the closest relative in order of closeness from the male relatives. So this is dealing with the male dead person. As for the female, then again the same thing applies for the one that she has requested. Or then if there is no request, then her mother, then her grandmother, then the closest of the relatives from the females, except for the leader of the believers, the leader, the imam, the amir. He is given precedence with regards to the prayer, concerning the prayer, give precedence to the father and whoever is after the father. So he has the right, the first right. But if he gives up his right, then we follow the father, the grandfather, then the closest male relative, and the mother, the grandmother, and so on, for the washing of the dead body of the female. So that is the order. So the dead person may decide before their death or close to their death, or have written and chosen who they believe is best to perform these actions on their behalf because of their righteousness, because their supplication is more likely to be answered. So if they have bequest that somebody, a particular person, should pray upon them, should wash their body, then his will should be fulfilled. And therefore, the one who has been bequeathed by the dead person, by the person who's passed away, is more deserving than even the closest of relatives. As this was for the man. As for the woman, then a woman washes, a female washes. Then if there is no close relatives, then any female, any foreign female who's not a relative can wash the dead body. And same for the male, any male non-relative can wash the dead body if the family members are unable. Then he moved from washing and from washing to the salah. And the Amir is only given precedence, the leader is only given precedence with regards to the prayer. So he made a point to mention about just the prayer. So the washing is not, the precedence of washing is not for the Amir. It is only for the dead body, only for the prayer. In the prayer, he has precedence over everyone. Except for the one who has been bequeathed or requested. The one who is bequeathed or requested that by the dead person that he should wash the body, he is given precedence over everyone, even the leader. And in the same way, when we mentioned the Amir, we can all included in the Amir is the Imam of the Masjid, the normal Imam of the Masjid. If he's the only one who leads the prayer, leads the prayers and leads the Janazah prayer, then he's given precedence, unless somebody has requested, then that request, that for example his son or his father leads the prayer, then that request is fulfilled. And Allah knows best, and we will stop there because then we'll move on to the next topic, which is the prayer upon the dead body and how the prayer is performed and the fiqh of that. And Allah knows best. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد والله أعلم.